What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Road to Master Rank. If you don't know what the Master Rank is, it is essentially the highest title you can get within the F1 game, and we're going to see if we can try and get there. We tried, vigorously last game. We fell short by, reasons that were kind of out of our control, but this year I am making an effort to try and get there. We have still 11 months, or probably a little bit less now, until the next F1 game comes out, so it's going to be my goal to get there by the time F1 2020 is out. Bloody hell, F1 2020, imagine that coming out, that's scary. But anyway, here we go for our first race, the Canadian Grand Prix. We're starting in the box seat, in the house, pole position, and yeah, what can I say? It was a pretty simple race. We got away cleanly at turn 1. We survived the first lap, and then, if you can do that, 9 times out of 10, you will go on to win the race. That's probably the biggest advice I can give to anyone who is trying to contest in these ranked lobbies. Qualifying is everything, so make sure you have your qualifying down pat. But unfortunately, my PC again was having issues. I thought I had fixed the issue where it was rebooting randomly, because I switched to DX11, but it rebooted the next race in one of the lobbies after the next race, and unfortunately I lost that footage. So now I've switched to console, and here we are once again. Again, getting pole position, but for some reason some other dude gets put in front of me on the front row, so that is interesting. Because it happened on PC, I don't know if you noticed, in that first qualifying session, and now we switched to Xbox and it's happening here as well, so it's obviously a glitch that has probably popped up recently. But away we go for the Australian Grand Prix, starting from second place with no one on the first grid slot in the race, but we get through turn 1 fairly cleanly, and we're able to, get on with our race. So now is the important phase of the Grand Prix. We've got Tipsy Attorney, putting the pressure on, heading into turn 3. I've turned down my engine a little bit just to save it so we can go for a fast lap on the next lap. That's something I do tend to do, but we still seem to be under threat from the guy behind. He's looking up the inside, but not quite there. We look back and he's spun out. Now, I got a message from him. He said that I spun him out. But if you go back and have a listen to the footage, there was no contact made. Well, it looks like there might have been contact, but I didn't hear any visual thump, as you can hear now. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that one. Obviously, I turned in for the corner because I, wasn't really alongside, so I was just turning in. At some point you do have to back out, but it's just one of those things, a bit unlucky. Probably might have done something a little bit different if I had my time over, but otherwise, I don't know. I feel like I, couldn't have really done too much there. It's on the guy behind to do with that what he will. But anyway, let's move on to this race, the Hungarian Grand Prix. I got second place in this one. Probably got the setup a little bit wrong. I probably could have gone for a little bit more downforce, so that's what I've opted for in the race now. As away we go for this next one. Looks like a average start. The guys on the second row of the grid getting a better start than those of us on the front row. So it's going to be 4 wide heading into turn 1. The guy on the inside pinballs the middle guy into the left guy. And now, we've got a bit of a contest on our hands. You can see Hayden the G going up the inside of the Xenon car. Pushes him a bit wide onto the curb. He spins me. And we are pretty much last in this Grand Prix. Go Sniper rage quit after getting spun out. So, not the start of the race that we wanted. A bit of a back-end loss. People are rage quitting. And I don't know if you lose rank if you rage quit, but I'm pretty sure you do. Tires are overheating despite having a small spin there. But, we have it all to do now. The obvious priority right now is to cool the tires. So that's what I'm doing, chucking it down into lean and not much battery mode. The guy in front of us, I don't know if he's lost his... Yes, he has got some front wing damage. The guy in front of us is having his own set of issues as well. Like, this is why you need to get off to a good start, and also why you need to qualify well, because when you get in the battles with all these idiots, this is when your rank, your safety rating takes a massive hit. You've just got to be up the front and away from all of the carnage. Essentially have boring races. But yeah, we cleared the traffic somewhat. We've now got ourselves into a nice little air gap in P4, trying to chase down top 3 runners. I've got the pace, set of purple, fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. There's just not enough time left in the race to really do anything, especially if you have an incident. It's very hard to bounce back, so it's going to be P4 in the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is a really solid recovery given what happened on the first lap. We were down to like P9 or P10, don't know what it was, but we move over to the online rank, and it goes down despite the awesome recovery. So, I don't know. I feel like that's a bit broken, to be honest. Even though that's what Codemasters have, you know, obviously planned for it to do. I feel like finishing 4th in a 10-man race or whatever, you should go up in rank. That, like, we lose rank even though we finish 4th, which isn't horrible. Can you imagine if we finished last that race? Again, I think we would have been losing like 100 elo points. We move on to Monaco, and thanks for the free win. So, I don't know what to say. Like, it's a bit silly, the fact that you can, I think, only gain like a maximum of like 30 or so points when you win a race. But the fact that you can like lose over 100 points when you have a bad one or get taken out, I feel like it's so stupid. You should only be allowed to lose as much as you can gain in one race. That's just my opinion. I feel like the whole ranking system needs to be changed, because right now it is impossible to string together the best part of 50 or 60 races, which I think you need to do to get to master rank without getting taken out. It's just impossible. You need to literally cheat pretty much to do that. We move on to the Australian Grand Prix, again my home race. Someone went in a bit deep at turn 1, shoved us a bit wide, and now this guy has the lead of the race. So now we have to put some moves on in order to get back into the lead. We go round the outside into the middle sector. Nice little move there, and now we have the ascendancy once again, and from there it was a pretty easy affair. So thankfully we got away with that one. So some minor gains so far this episode, despite doing many races. It just seems like the progress is a little bit slow going at the moment. So what I decided to do was I left that lobby and I decided to find a new one, and thankfully we found a lobby with much better ranked people. Like, one guy is gold rank 3, someone's gold rank 2. So if we beat these guys, then our rank is going to be going up tenfold, hopefully, and we shall test what the gains are like with that. But it wasn't plain sailing for me. I got P3 in qualifying, so I've certainly got my work cut out for me in this one. I should probably invest in looking at other setups, but there's nothing we can really do about that now. 5 red lights and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We certainly have a race on our hands now, with these guys being much better than the competition we were faced with earlier. Turn 1, a lot of weaving, a lot of people trying to react to what the others were doing, and we went left, we went right, and ultimately we went back to pretty much where we started. So yeah, let's see if we can make an impact on this race. Ben going defensive on the run into turn 4. He holds position there, so nice defensive driving from him. We've got BF1 Racer right in behind us as well. Like, none of these guys will be slow by any means, so we've got to keep our wits about us, not get involved too much in the battles, make a clean, efficient overtake, and then hopefully move forward and set after the next guy. But unfortunately, yeah, again, didn't exactly go all to plan. I didn't have a great lap 2, and then my exit off the last corner was atrocious. So I thought that was pretty much game over for me in this race, but thankfully the top 2 started to battle once again, and that was inviting me back into the fray. So I was getting a bit excited about the prospect of having a battle for the lead again. Ben gets a horrible run through the center S's, and now we're going to use the slipstream, some DRS, to try and get P2 in this race. The leader is only a second or 2 up the road, so we might have a chance at him. Maybe he's been using too much battery in the early stages, and now he's recovering. That could well be the case. Here you can see slipstream. We could go around the outside. No, he covers that off. Are we going to go back up the inside? We kind of lost our momentum, so we're going to have to go for like a bit of a lunge into this next right-hander, and here we go, up the inside. A bit of contact was made, and that was purely because he moved over again in the braking zone. We get the move done. A bit of a shove left and right. It's all fine, and we're into P2. Good fight, though. P1, by virtue of us battling, got away. I don't have as much straight line speed as F1 Ben here, and he gets past us again. The plan was to save a little bit of battery at this point and then come back at him on the last lap, but unfortunately that just was not the case. So yeah, it's P3, pretty much where we started in the Grand Prix, and where we have to go back to the drawing board. Literally only 2 points gained in our skill rating, which is a joke, but we move on to the next race in Silverstone, and now we'll see what we can do. So I think it's worth mentioning at this stage, PC is my main platform. That's where I have all my setups from career mode and everything. On Xbox, I literally only have one setup, and that's for Silverstone. We're at Silverstone, and I got 4th place. So, no excuses, Ben. I need to lift my game. 5 red lights, and away we go for the final race of this episode here at the British Grand Prix. Now that we are actually at a circuit that I have a setup for, let's see if I can do anything. I feel like it was a good qualifying lap, but hopefully in the race I have a bit better pace, a bit more of a measure over these guys. It was very close, only 3/10 separating the top 4, so it's not like we're a million miles off, but I could still do with a bit more practice and a bit more setup work on this platform in order to, yeah, be a bit stronger in these lobbies. We can't get away with just winging it with a setup from a different track, like we were in the earlier races. Like, I'll be honest, I was getting a good start, putting in one fastest lap and then cruising for the rest of the race. But now I've actually got to treat this a bit more seriously, a bit more like a league race. I've got to manage my battery quite phonetically. Same with the fuel as well, because the closeness of the field here is really tight. So you've got to, you know, extract the maximum out of the car. But you can see this is a nice move around the outside into Stowe on BF1 Racer. We move up into the podium now, and hopefully we can set our sights after the top 2. Seem to be very consistent over the course of not only Brazil, but this track as well. Their pace seems to be maybe even a little bit stronger here, but we'll see if we can close the gap. F1 Ben lost a bit of slipstream and DRS off of the leader, and then from there his pace wasn't as strong. We're coming on really good here in this last lap or two. Unfortunately, again, we've run out of time. So, yeah, just a little bit of pace is lacking, at least up against these guys. So, as we, you know, have a break in between this episode and the next, I'll download a lot of new, recent setups for a lot of tracks, and then hopefully, yeah, there'll be no excuses, and we'll be able to be a bit more competitive against people who are actually pretty darn good at the game. So, yeah, that's been this episode of Road to Master Rank. We now have some worthy competition. I was kind of a little bit worried at the start, or at some point, that we were only going to race up against people who were quite a bit slower, but it is refreshing to see that there is some pretty fast drivers in the mix on these games. I'll have to do this at a more time-friendly point of the day as well, because I think I did this like late at night. It was near on midnight when I did this, so there wasn't many people on the game, so we'll hopefully get some more people in and it'll be a bit more exciting. But that said, I feel like some of the moves and some of the battles we did have were pretty darn close and pretty exciting, so I'm looking forward to what is next in the Road to Master Rank series. We've got 450 odd points to go, lots of gaining to make, but as long as we can get on a bit of a winning streak, we'll make some big inroads on that title. Anyway, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Until the next one, guys, I'll see you next time.